I honestly did not think that Peter Cullen's passing would actually hit me. I'm gonna be real. Damn, like this one, like this hurts in a weird way. I'm gonna be honest. I did not mm, I did not think that a random actor's death would actually hit me like this. This is but the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense. I don't want to dwell on this too long today. Um, but I do have some things to show you guys as to uh why I think this hits me so hard. Um, I know we got a lot of Transformer fans in the community. Love y'all. Appreciate you guys being here. Um, but yeah, for the Transformers fandom as a whole, this is, for lack of a better phrase, definitely our darkest hour to say the least. It's tough. Like I said, we all knew this would happen one day. Peter Cullen was 85, man. The man lived a full life. He did. Um, and he impacted so many people. But when you understand his story and the weight behind the voice that he gave Optimus Prime, it definitely means a lot to a lot of different people. I'm one creator that was inspired by Peter Cullen, right? And honestly, for me, it all started even before I knew who he was. I'm gonna take y'all back to something. Let me see something. Hold on. Check. So I was born in 1995. So which means my childhood really, the deepest parts of my childhood come from the early 2000s. So I didn't become a fan of Transformers until I was about 7. So you're talking about 2002. Um, Before then, the biggest things for me, like the biggest shows for me growing up, like action shows, was stuff like Dragon Ball Z. Y'all will hear me. Well, I can't really say Samurai Jack, because Samurai Jack would have been later, but like, it wasn't really. I shouldn't just even say action shows. The shows that were the most influential to me, I think, the first like 6 years of my life would have been. Trying to think back that far. A lot of the cartoon shows, like so, you had Johnny Bravo, you had Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Nickelodeon side, Hey Arnold. I always talk about Hey Arnold. That one really wasn't influential. And then you, of course, you had the more edgy shows, which were on the Toonami block. I saw promos for Gundam, Sailor Moon, but of course, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was really the first show that like captivated me as a kid. Like, what is this? This is different. Um, but you want to know what the weird thing is? Before I had even heard the name Optimus Prime, I had already been hearing his voice. That's how influential Peter Cullen was in the voice acting scene. There were a lot of other projects that I had heard his voice in without realizing it, and I wouldn't find out till later on in my life. But the best and the earliest examples I think I can give are definitely the Toonami era, the promos that used to come up on the screen right before a new episode would drop. But you would always, like, growing up in that day and age, like before the internet, like you'd get so hyped for the next episode of Dragon Ball. You'd watch something like this. Let me see. Actually, this isn't a good. Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna show you my favorite one. I got a better idea because I know he's in this one. Some of these, yeah.
Bardock, a soldier in Frieza's Saiyan army, has just saved the universe.
Kakarot!
Remember that name. Only he doesn't know it yet.
It's Frieza. He's coming for us.
Take heart, Bardock. A savior has been born. Toonami presents DBZ Movies. Bardock, the father of Goku. This Friday at 6.
You coward! Come out and fight me!
Bro, like I'm telling you right now, it's like growing up watching that shit hit hard. And then the Bardock movie was one of my favorites, but you had Peter Cullen narrating that and not even realizing that. So when it came to Transformers, so I'm 7 years old, right? It comes to Transformers. My Optimus Prime was a guy by the name of Gary Chalk. For most kids that grew up in the 2000s, Gary Chalk is your Optimus, whether it's Optimus Primal or Optimus Prime. But even then, Peter Cullen still had a presence.
For centuries untold, the Transformers have waged war across the universe.
Move out!
On one side, Autobots, peaceful defenders of Cybertron. The other, Decepticons, destructive scourge of the galaxy.
You have no way to stop us.
The prize, Medicons, an ancient race of power-enhancing Transformers. Inadvertently, two teams have activated a signal, bringing the chaos of this war to planet Earth.
You have something of mine.
Whoever can possess the Medicons will command their great power. Now, every Transformer in the universe will fight to claim them, or die trying.
Give it up, Megatron!
Cold as fuck, bro.
Transformers Armada, Friday at 4. Much more than meets the eye.
It's time to turn it up.
Only Toonami.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, there was nothing more. So listen, that's my introduction. I saw that as a kid, and my little 7-year-old, I could, to this day, I watch that and it still chills, right? Crazy. But once again, my entire context to Transformers was, it was Armada. And then I think a year later, like because there's one thing about me, when I love something, like I become obsessive over it, as you can clearly tell. But like when I really get into something, like I'm passionate about it. Like I try to learn everything I can about it. It's the way I've handled my Fortnite content. Like I never would have thought I would have made a career out of making videos on Fortnite, right? Fortnite clearly is my favorite video game of all time just for that reason. But Transformers was like an early example of that, where it's just like I had to learn everything. So back in the day, we used to have to go to, like, if you wanted to get like more media on things that you love, you had to go to like a video store. I remember the first time I went to a Blockbuster looking for Transformers stuff, and I saw this one DVD. It said Transformers the movie. I asked my mom if we could get it. We got it. We came home. This is when DVD players were like new. They were like a brand new thing. I went home, popped in the DVD, and it wouldn't work because we didn't know how to properly we didn't know how to like link up the DVD player to make it work on the TV, right? And had to end up taking it back. I think a few months later, we got a new DVD player, figured out how to make it work or something. I watched the Transformers the movie for the first time. And I was very confused because I was like, well, where are the Minicons? Where is Cyclonus and Demolisher? Why does Starscream sound like a girl? Why does Megatron's voice sound so raspy? And Optimus. Why does his voice sound familiar? I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, I know I've heard that voice somewhere. At 8 years old, I'm like, I know I've heard that voice. I just don't know where. But it was Peter Cullen. After that, I did like more research and I like deep dived into like the history of the brand, and I learned who Peter Cullen was and learned about, more about the, everything regarding Transformers. And of course, like I said, I got obsessed. As I got older, Gary Chalk's voice wasn't the one that I would hear. And I would be writing stories or playing with friends. It was Peter Cullen's. And it led me to um it led me to doing some of my first ever voice acting work. Um and I'm gonna show you I'm gonna excuse me. Wow. I want to show you guys something that I've never shown before on this channel. Um Man, this is weird. This is so weird. I used to be in the Transformer space back in the early days of YouTube. I'm talking like the super early days. And there were like a lot of Solomon, real appreciate the gift of sub, bro. Back in the early days of Transformers, there were a lot of stop motion projects, and I was not good enough. I was not good enough to land on some of the bigger stop motion projects. But there's this one girl who used to do these Transformer like half animation, like half like just kind of playing with the toys. I think I was like 11 or 12 when I first auditioned. This is back when this channel went by the name Gear Grinder 12. But I auditioned for the role. I think I auditioned for the role of Smokescreen. And as time progressed, like the different people that she had to voice act in the series, they kind of fell off, and so I I ended up voicing half the damn cast. But I remember when she came to me and she's like, "Can you do Optimus Prime?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do an Optimus Prime impersonation." And if y'all want to hear how cringy and how bad it was, this is it. I've never shown y'all this before. I've never shown you guys this stuff before. Um,
Today's the day. In just 1 hour, we will invade Decepticon HQ and take the eyepiece from the diabolical hands in order to summon the Allspark. No more shall we suffer ourselves from fighting it. No more shall we sacrifice many innocent beings in order to reinforce a war. No more shall the Decepticons and Predacons reign on many empires and worlds to destroy us ever again.
oh my goodness, bro. This is like, this brings back so many. I recorded this, bro. Y'all want to know what I recorded this off of? It was a fucking MP3 player microphone, bro. Like, holy shit. Like, it was an MP3 player mic. That was 12-year-old me. Then some years pass. I did some other voice acting stuff for other friends. That's how I met one of my best friends, somebody I call my brother, my friend Anthony, the one I go to see movies with in Seattle. I did some voice acting work for him, but I didn't get to voice Optimus Prime because he got John Bailey to do it, right? My voice had matured a little bit. I'm 18 at this point, so I've gotten a little bit older, but I'm working on my Optimus, but it's still not good. But years later, I would start doing this little thing that y'all might have heard of. It's called live streaming. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that. But I started live streaming. I started doing little goofy ass voices on stream. And I started to try my hand at doing the voice again.
Be stopped, no matter the cost.
Prime, why throw away your life so recklessly?
That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
No! I'll crush you with my bare hands!
Megatron kind of sounds like Vegeta, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm the prince of all Decepticons!
So you can kind of see, as time progresses, how my voice is maturing. The impression's still not that great, but it's getting there, right?
Damn it, Kakarot! How was he that strong?
Hang on a second. I thought there was another clip of. I think I had another one. Yeah, this is it here.
Why are the computers so large? I don't know, Morty. Maybe we're on a planet of giants.
What are you doing in my house?
Oh shit, Morty! Do you know who that is? Oh jeez, Rick, that's Optimus Prime. I know, Morty.
Goofy shit,
I
chat.
Yo, dude, you're Optimus Prime. That's crazy.
Yes, I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots.
Holy shit, dog. Turn your fucking game down to your microphone. Like, holy hell. Sweet lord. Anyway, that was my early days of streaming, trying to kind of get used to the voice. Then we, of course, had the skits. And I had between this point and this point, I had a bit of a breakthrough because I realized there's two different Optimus Primes that people tend to do. There's the murderous Bayverse Optimus Prime,
Who talks down here really low.
This is that's what everybody thinks of when they think of modern day Optimus Prime, right? But then I realized, like, well, what about a younger Peter Cullen? And that would be more up here. Wheeljack, Bumblebee, right? You would be a higher pitch. Of course, it's not completely accurate to Peter. No one's ever going to be that good. But I realized that there was a distinction between the two. And so when I started doing skits for y'all during the Chapter 4 era of Fortnite, generally speaking, I would use the younger Peter Cullen voice.
Goku Black, do you have enough energy to transform into that rose thing?
I mean, I could, but apparently it's only cosmetic and gives us no competitive.
So yeah, y'all get the idea.
I miss Bumblebee.
So that's when the voice started getting better. But in between Fortnite Chapter 4 to now, I saw a clip I'd never seen before. And it was a clip of Peter talking about how he came up with the voice. And it's crazy that it took me this long to see it. But I didn't know up until I think about 2 years ago that Peter based the voice. I think I knew that he based the voice off of his brother, but I didn't know the story behind it. And the quote of his brother saying,
Peter, if you're going to be a leader, a good leader, be strong enough to be gentle.
When I heard that hit. But it clicked something in my brain that I didn't have before, which eventually got me to the point where I think, which is kind of where my impersonation is now, but I think this is like the best it's ever been here.
Why do they force us to play this terrible game?
Not the Morty.
This game is literally unplayable, and it's all because they took our V-Bucks away. And I can't even look at Fortnite the same way anymore. V-Bucks are the right of all sentient beings, and until Epic Games returns them to their former glory, I will not be playing. I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any fellow Fortnite players willing to listen. And most importantly to you, Tim Sweeney. Know this, if you do not revert the V-Buck change, I am coming for you.
So, you go from being this kid
Autobots, prepare for battle.
to this adult.
Epic Games returns them to their former glory, I will not be playing.
Holy shit. That's the impact that one person can have on you. You spend, what would that be? 12 to, well, damn near 20 years of your life, 19 years of your life trying to impersonate one person's voice. But that's the impact that that's the impact that a person can have. If you want to take it to a deeper level, outside of the voice acting and the self-aggrandizing or the patting myself on the back for learning how to do a better impersonation of my favorite cartoon character, Optimus Prime as a character, I think that he embodied, like, I'll put it to you this way. You guys know that my faith, Christianity, is very important to me. What I've learned over the years is that a lot of the heroes that you see in fiction are archetypes of Christ. They embody certain principles and traits of Christ because Christianity, regardless of how you feel about the religion, it is so ingrained in culture, human culture as a whole. It's the most influential story ever told. The story of Christ is the most influential story ever told in human history. That's not opinion. I'm not saying that because that's my faith. That's just the way that the cards dealt, or the cards were dealt in reality. But growing up, I always looked at the different elements of Christ in different heroes. That's why I gravitate towards heroes like Superman, sometimes Goku, and of course Optimus Prime, because there are influences of Christian theology spread all throughout those different series. But what I found out recently, and by recently, I mean even like the last 6 months, Transformers actually has deep roots to Christianity. The concept of passing the matrix of leadership on to the next person. I think it was is his name Ron Perlman, I believe. He was one of the writers on the original Transformers cartoon. I'm probably getting the name wrong, but he was one of the original writers of the Transformers cartoon. He's passed away now too. But he said he came up with that idea and that concept because he looked at the Catholic Church and how the Pope would lay hands on the next priest to bring them in. It's the passing of the mantle. Even when it comes to my faith, it's deeply woven into the DNA of Transformers and the storyteller Transformers. The four horsemen of Unicron, or the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation. There's a lot of different things. And I'm not saying this to get overly religious, but what I'm trying to get across to all of you guys is that these stories, these characters, they have meaning beyond just the superficial. We need to make a cool story to sell products to dumb kids to make a profit for $1 billion company. Yes, that's there. But there's a reason why these stories mean so much to so many different people outside of me. Um, Peter Cullen was a hero, and his brother, who he based the voice of Optimus Prime on, was a hero. Um, and Peter Cullen, although I never got the chance to meet him, Peter Cullen was my hero. So I appreciate the things that he's done in the voice acting space. Just studying him and learning about him and his accomplishments, the things that he's done. Um, they've meant something to me. And although like I'm not a real voice actor, I haven't put in the effort and the work to be anywhere near on the level as him. He definitely inspired me to go forward to that next step. Um, and when I do my work on my channel, I try to share a little bit of that with all of you. What I've learned over the years from artists that I absolutely love, it could be, and that's the thing, like I take inspiration from people from different aspects of life. Um, Michael Jackson, my favorite artist of all time, greatest dancer to ever do it, one of the greatest artists to ever do it. I go to the voice acting realm. You've got people like Peter Cullen. You got Frank Welker. God bless him too. Frank's getting up there in age, voice of Megatron. And there's other voice actors too. You know, Gary Chalk, my first Optimus Prime. This one here, Armada Optimus. Um, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob. You know, but that's just like the voice acting arena. You've got people that inspire you from different things. Writers, there's different writers over the years I've looked at and studied. I take inspiration from. Um, that's the reason. How do I say this? I think that's the reason why when we have conversations on this channel about ideas or concepts that are more complex, I pull from multiple sources because the most well-rounded creators, whether you make music, whether you're a voice actor, whether you're a writer, a storyboarder, whether you love photography, doing camera work on film, whatever, you're an artist, you're a creator. And if you pay attention, what you'll do over time is you should never just look at the creators that are in your field. You should always be looking at creators or people that do things that are just outstanding, that are amazing outside of the thing that you're trying to become an expert in. Because that makes you a more well rounded person, but also makes you a more well rounded creator. You could draw parallels and things. That's why when I give analogies of certain things, sometimes it doesn't always land because you have to have a bit more understanding or widen your perspective of understanding in order to really appreciate, the nuance in the subject, the nuance in the perspective. But I'm saying all of this to say, Peter Cullen has his influence in pop culture and voice acting, even beyond Optimus Prime, has inspired me. And pray the best for his family. I really do. And I'll be honest, I did not think I'd be sitting here crying on stream about a guy I never met who voiced a robot for Saturday morning cartoons. But damn, maybe sometimes you got to be strong enough to be gentle, you know. So, and I pray for all of you that that's something that you can do too. But yeah, that's my Optimus Prime story. Peter Cullen meant something to me. His characters meant something to me. They still mean something to me, and I know they mean um, a lot to all of you. And don't uh, you can call it parasocial, and maybe to a certain degree it is, right? But I think it's okay to feel something for somebody, even if you never met them. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. This one's gonna hit a lot of people. We've lost a lot of great people over the last few days. And I think here's another thing too. I think from my perspective, the older I get and the more people that I lose in my personal life, the more meaning death has. Um, for me and my faith in my life, it's not the end. It's just the next step to a new beginning, right? Um, but that doesn't mean that it hurts any less. Those people are not here with us anymore, regardless of if we may see them again in the future or not in the next life. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Death is still occurs. And it sucks that the people that are so talented that meant so much to us at some point in time, they'll all get taken away. Life tomorrow's not promised. Life isn't necessarily going to be given to you the next day. You have to take it one day at a time. You got to appreciate it. I think moments like this give you it gives you the chance to reflect and really appreciate the life that you've been given, um, and appreciate the people around you because they're not going to be here with you forever. Appreciate the gifts and the talents you've been given. Appreciate the struggles. Appreciate the difficult times, the hardships. But just learn how to just overall appreciate life. That's the best thing I can say to you guys. Anyway, rest in peace to Peter Cullen. We love you. Uh, you mean more to us than just a truck that turns into a really cool robot with an awesome voice. But thank you for everything you did for us. That's all I wanted to say.